Thank you guys for watching another episode of Just Talks. We're doing a recap of the MCU. My name is Jamal. I'm here with Ramon. Today we're going to be talking about The Incredible Hulk. It was directed by Louis Leterrier, who is also the director of Now You See Me, The Transporter, and some of the Fast and the Furious. But before we get started, I do want to make a highlight. I want to say happy belated birthday to Ramon.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
No problem.
You know, we getting old, but I'm glad I was born to be watching this stuff in this era. You know,
It was a good birthday?
it was good. It was great. Always a great weekend. Absolute. Shout out my family. You know, they're the best. So,
Yeah.
you know, of course.
So yeah, we're getting into The Incredible Hulk. The Incredible Hulk, we were joking about it because we were like, this movie is kind of like a filler episode. If you watch anime, this was kind of like a filler episode, but it did have mad action, but very little dialogue. Because we were trying to figure out like what is the tie-in when we watched Iron Man and how it had like a full story about like this big change, like a big character arc. We were trying to look for that, and we didn't really see that with this movie.
It was almost like they went in a direction after Iron Man. We know it was a lot of jokes in there, kind of serious, but you know, you had RDJ, you know, being his usual self. With Edward Norton, it was like the complete opposite. Now you got this low-key guy on the run. He's trying to be super calm. The movie starts in like the favelas and stuff, you know. So off rip, he's already like thrown in this world where it's like they try to set this tone and set the story for this character without him saying much about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, RDJ explained himself versus this guy. It was like we kind of got the history of Hulk because we had, you know, previous Hulk.
Yeah.
What is it, 2003?
2003 with Eric Bana.
Eric Bana, right. Yeah. That movie already kind of like, I would say set the stage, but it gave us a, you know, Hollywood a taste of what the Hulk was like, you know. With this film, it's more like a soft reboot, you would say, in a sense, where they already established the part where he is, you know, the guy affected by gamma radiation, turns into the big green person. We already know that part. What happens after? So now this film just focuses on like his life on the run, what he has to deal with on the daily, you know, like you said, it felt like a filler episode. So if we're talking bigger MCU in retrospect, it's like this was one of those steps that needed to be taken in order to get to closer to that whole Avengers ensemble, you know, so.
1000%. I'd say that now, it's almost like I'm talking down about it being a filler movie, but it was one of my favorite MCU movies until we got later into the story. Like once we got some of the later movies that we'll eventually get to, this was still, to me, like one of the top ones, and maybe it's just because I like action.
I mean, at the time, you know, we went from kind of like a little slower Hulk to like really action paced. Like it took time to actually see him on screen. Like they kind of like teased it and, you know, they kind of like
slow rolled it.
Yeah, they kind of took their time revealing us like what this Hulk actually looks like. So when we got the reveal of what it was like just this angry beast, like what everyone was really expecting from a Hulk character. And I think it was, you know, executed really well.
For sure.
You know, Edward Norton, you know, coming from his history with like Fight Club and stuff like that, he did really, you know, he didn't say much per se, dialogue-wise, but like...
We noticed that, I don't think that was something that I noticed before. Like, as many times as I've seen this movie, because I've seen it, I actually saw it twice in theaters. So like when it first came out years ago, I saw it like the original release, and then it was somebody's birthday, and they wanted to go to the movies and see it, so we saw it twice.
That's cool.
But I didn't really realize how little words that they said in the movie. It was if you know, the best way to explain it is they were taking turns saying their lines almost. And with music, because you guys know that I love music, it's like a producer's worst nightmare when you got an artist that you got to punch in every single time. Every time that they rap a line, it's like you got to punch, and it's like, all right, we got to refresh, and you got to do the next verse, punch it in. That's a producer's worst nightmare.
You got to pause play, and the next person pause play. It's like
almost like
the one-liners.
When you think about this movie, and I know she would be tight if she ever was to see this and hear this, but she's not, so it's okay. Cardi B. If you ever listen to how Cardi B raps, she raps in that kind of way where it's like you pausing and playing. So Edward Norton. Let's talk about Edward Norton.
Yeah.
His version of the Hulk, or his version of Bruce Banner, rather. A lot of people like to put him against the other two, which, as we already said, the first version was Eric Bana. And then, of course, we then had Edward Norton, and now we have Mark Ruffalo. And people like to compare the three. I don't know if we should wait until we get to Mark Ruffalo, but I think that it's okay to talk about Edward Norton now, being that he only has one movie, and kind of compare the two between Edward Norton and...
It's hard to say because Edward Norton did good on the science part. Like, he was definitely like that geeky guy. He had that nerdy style, flow, swagger or whatever. He had the general's daughter they fell in love as kids or whatnot. I would think it'd be better if we got more dialogue, more like a flashback even. Like we got zero flashbacks.
We got that one flashback of the very beginning.
That was the roll credits. That was like the intro credits. They're through the intros, starring this person, starring that person. They're explaining to us what happened to Bruce Banner and the Gamma Lab accident, radiation, whatever. We don't actually see scenes of him talking. There's no actual scenes of it. So they already fast forward, he's already on the run, a year and a half later. We don't get like a sort of history from him. So we don't see his character development, I guess, sort of say. We don't see much. Now, in terms of like Mark Ruffalo, where he's introduced in the Avengers, he's already tired of being on the run. He's used to being on the run. He's at the point where he's like, I just want to be left alone. Mark Ruffalo brings almost like a charm to the character, like a wittiness, that little Razzles 13 going on 30 type of actor type of vibe. Like he's still kind of like quirky type of
which I think was perfect and exactly what Marvel was looking for.
Yeah,
I think that might have been part of the discussion when they switched to Joss Whedon directing the first Avengers.
Yeah,
because with Joss Whedon, that's his style, and he did that so perfectly, which helped out the rest of the universe because of his ability to add in that jokey side, but also adding in that serious element. I don't know. I kind of feel like I always wondered what it would have been like had Edward Norton been our Bruce Banner,
our regular
David. Although, fun fact for some people that might not know,
found out that they were changing the name from Bruce Banner to David Banner. I asked the logical question, why are you doing that? His name is supposed to be Bruce. And some genius at the network said, oh no, Stan, Bruce makes him sound homosexual. It sounds gay. I said, there's Bruce Jenner, the athletic decathlon champ. Well, I don't think I knew Bruce. No, we don't like the sound of Bruce. I said, you can't change his name. He's been David Banner. He's been Bruce Banner for all these years, but they were the network and they were in charge.
A main star in the adult industry, so it kind of just last minute.
I feel like I always wonder what that communication, that dialogue between Edward Norton and Robert Downey Jr. would have been like. Because I feel like Edward Norton has that somewhat slight, snarky, style about him as well.
Yeah.
I feel like it probably, maybe not as much, but it probably would have been close to Tony Stark and with Doctor Strange or with each other on camera. Because that's just his version. I feel like Mark Ruffalo was a little bit more reserved, like you said, because he's already tired of it already. They've given him more of a personality in the later movies, but earlier on, he was kind of a little bit more reserved. He didn't want to be the Hulk anymore. He didn't mind being the Hulk, but he wanted to be left alone, what you were saying.
Yeah, I feel like once we even got to the Ragnarok era Hulk, he was already just the goofball that we know. It was more like Hulk being a big brat versus Bruce Banner being a scientist, so.
Exactly.
I definitely understand what you mean, for sure.
Exactly. And going into the movie, we also get rest in peace to William Hurt, Thunderbolt Ross, the original Thunderbolt Ross, who was in so many movies. He might have been in more movies than Hulk, honestly. That's a stretch. It's a stretch.
No.
But he was in a ton of movies. William Hurt himself didn't get the chance to actually portray the Hulk later, the Red Hulk later on, because he passed away, and I think that was 2021, 2022. He passed away
right around the time we almost got the actual show for Falcon and Winter Soldier. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, because then they had the recast, and then they recast it with Han Solo.
Indiana Jones. No offense to him. He's great.
He's one of the greatest.
We love Han Solo, but I would have wished I would have wished we got William Hurt.
Yeah, just because his storyline, especially in this movie, just leads up to that. Mm-hmm. Because you can see him discussing the super soldier serum, which he later on gives to Emil Blonsky, who becomes the Abomination. But there's stuff that he says that kind of alludes to the fact that they've been researching this for so long.
Absolutely.
And he cares so much about the super soldier serum and what it can do. And ultimately, you find out later on that he was working on it for himself because they made hints towards it. And was it in Civil War? They made hints towards it because he said he had some sort of heart attack or something along those lines. Yeah. And then
he started looking at other medical options and stuff. He kind of became obsessed with it. Even by the time of the end of Incredible Hulk, when he's at the bar.
Reload.
And he's like, yo, reload. You're drinking those Hulk drinks.
Green drinks.
Like, I guess he was already under fire by the government in the MCU because, everything came out. Like, Abomination, Blonsky, all that was happening. The professor leader.
What's crazy?
And the Delta 4 leader. You gotta
include that.
Yeah, you gotta.
But what's crazy about you saying that, right? About him being under fire with the
government.
Right?
Yeah. And Shield was on his ass.
Yes.
Yeah.
Crazy though, because I saw somebody who was talking about this, and I didn't even notice it until later on. Because he does get higher up. Because even when you get to later on in Captain America, when Falcon becomes Captain America, he becomes the president. Right.
And
then, how did he do all this bullshit and end up becoming president? Yeah. And they say the same thing about Bucky, because Bucky was this international assassin, and then he becomes a councilman. Yeah. So I just forgot all the other shit that these guys.
This is the thing. It's for two separate routes. I would say for Bucky, it was more like, okay, we pardon him because he helped us save the world, and during the events of Endgame, obviously Infinity War, he did his thing in being in Wakanda. Probably even actually King T'Challa himself probably had a play in that. The King of Wakanda vouching for you. You would want some guy like that on your team.
That's true.
Absolutely. For Thaddeus, it's more like, remember, the Abomination scene went crazy. Professor Stern got the little leader thing. So it kind of almost like, you can see how long it took for Thaddeus to get to presidency, but you can see what he used leader the whole time. And I think it was, the new Captain America, Captain America 4, Captain America 3, it gets a lot of fire and hate, criticism, but I think it was pretty, for being an Incredible Hulk sequel 14 years later, I think it was pretty well, put out story-wise, that they used the leader and the events of that, because it was almost like chess. It just put the pieces together.
Getting to the flow of the movie, when it's starting, it kind of, like we were already saying, it gave us the backstory, like the quick roll credits scene of what was happening with the Hulk, because they didn't want to do that whole story because we had just got the 2003 version. And they show Bruce in Brazil learning how to control his emotions, his breathing and everything, so he doesn't Hulk out.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool that they actually included that.
Yeah.
Because it's little scenes like that show him like, okay, now it makes sense why he's gone so long without hulking out, because he actually gone to meditation. He's taken I guess it was Muay Thai classes or something like that. Working on his breathing exercises and stuff like that. I think that was pretty cool.
And they had the counter, like you were saying, to let you know how long it's been since a
last incident.
Yeah, exactly. So they kind of slow built it into him becoming the Hulk for the first time on camera.
Yeah.
When he turned into the Hulk on camera, you don't even see him really. You just kind of get glimpses of his
silhouette.
Yeah, his silhouette.
Yeah.
The army guys are looking through their
scopes and stuff.
Their night vision scopes. and everything is kind of black and white for the most. It's not completely black and white, but it's really dark, grayed out. But their scopes are green. So when they see glimpses of him, that's the first time that we're able to see him green.
That is cool, actually. If you think about it, if you in the night vision with their lasers and stuff, the scope, everything was green. So when they see that the leg is growing out of the jeans, they're like, "The fuck? What the fuck?" Because it's just green, but they wouldn't expect the dude to actually be green. So I thought that was a pretty cool tidbit right there, for sure.
And then you finally get like the first image of him, Emil Blonsky, and who turns to the Abomination, and Hulk finally see each other, and you get that first good look of Hulk, at least his face for the most part, because you get a better look in a later scene.
I think the cinematography at that point, 2008, they were focusing on like a lot of shadows, a lot of camera angles. They were doing like what's those trolley where they put the camera on the dolly and it just rolls, and a lot of shadowy, smoky figures. I think it was pretty cool introducing him.
It's cool.
That way.
It's cool how they do that, which we'll see in the next movie when we get to Thor and see how the difference of how they just jump right into it. But for Iron Man and Hulk, they very much slow rolled their first appearance. Like the first time we see them. Yeah. Because even like we know when Iron Man was in the cave and he was making that Mark I armor, even though we saw parts of it, like bits and pieces, it took a minute for them to actually show him the first time. Yeah. And they did similar thing with this. Like you see bits and parts of him walking through the factory. Yeah.
Until we get to that Culver University scene. Yeah. Yeah. So
let's talk about when he stayed at the restaurant, Stanley's.
Oh, Stanley. Yeah.
You think that Stanley's obviously is a nod to Stanley, the great Stanley himself. But they didn't. They casted a comedian who the comedian's name is Paul Soules. Hold on.
Paul Soules.
Paul Soules, I believe his name is. Want to make sure that I'm saying that right. Yep, his name is Paul Soules. And while we're doing these like rewatches, like there's a lot of like research going on, so I'm looking stuff up so I know like what to talk about. I did not know that Paul Soules was actually the voice of Spider-Man in the original series in 1967. Yeah. It's cool. Like Marvel kept it in the family.
I didn't know that either. But that was pretty cool in terms of like having him in there, and then of course the Stan Lee. Even his hair, like his choice of like character, like I guess his demeanor and his that old school pops. Like he's been here for a while. You kids. He probably did something just like that in the '60s animated series. So yeah. I think it was pretty cool.
To Liv Taylor or Betty Ross. And her, what did you say? No, not husband. He's not a husband in the movie.
They
were together. They never officially said whether they were married or whatever. But
it's funny you say that because the scene with him, like, when he says, I remember why she didn't talk about you or whatever, they're living in the same house at that point. So they don't even, we don't know if they're married or not, but we know that she left. You see, that doesn't even make sense now because what house did they go back to? Unless they have separate houses and she has her work at his house. Yeah. That's the only way. So because ain't no way you're going to bring...
let's get to people. So in the scene, when they're in the pizzeria, Bruce Banner needed somewhere to stay for a little bit. So he went to Stanley's because he knew that was somebody he could trust. Obviously, it's like just a known thing of a place that they used to go to all the time when they were in college. Betty Ross and her boyfriend, I forgot what his name is, which is not really relevant.
The head shrink.
Yeah. They go to the pizzeria late at night. And Betty sees Bruce, and she, mid-conversation,
drops
everything, and goes after Bruce.
The sound goes blank. It like everything mutes. Like whatever you're talking about is out of sight.
He just had no juice, no power.
Forget it.
And like as a man, like how do you? Like, I don't even know how you recruit.
I mean, that's charge it to the game. That's it. You're done. You gotta
no longer. You
gotta. At least it happened like that, and not any worse way. All the extra drama stuff that comes, with stuff like that.
But it does because of what we were just saying. Because she leaves him at the restaurant.
Absolutely.
And then goes to pick Bruce up because he tries to leave and starts walking wherever he was going to walk.
Somewhere in the rain again.
In the rain. And why did it rain? Why did they use so much fake rain in this movie? That was one of my biggest takeaways from this movie. They used so much fake. There was no reason. Like, it would be something happening, and then boom, it's just rain.
I think 4 out of 5 sad scenes had rain in
it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't even good fake rain. That's like when she picked him up and she got out of the car.
It was falling on him only and not her.
It's pouring rain, and it's not pouring on her. It's only on him in the car. It's like, what are we doing with this rain? The fight scene, which we're going to get to, but it just started raining. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, at least you pointed out the cloud stuff. Yeah. Right as soon as they get to the campus. Mm-hmm. So that I guess that makes up for it. That was probably even added in the last 3 months of the release. Let's just edit some clouds in here because
somebody will catch
it's a lot of rain.
But another cameo, which is another fun fact for people. Lou Ferrigno was in the movie.
The OG Hulk. He was
a security guard. Bruce gives him the pizza so he can get past the security, do whatever he needs to do on the computers. Which, Lou Ferrigno was the original actor that did Hulk. Obviously, they didn't have the technology to do the special effects to make this gigantic green monster.
They just juiced him up.
So they just
had
one actor as Bruce, and then when he turned green, they had another actor, which was, I don't know the original actor's name. Should have looked that up. But Lou Ferrigno was the one that played the actual Hulk. And he's in the movie. But the fun fact that some people don't know is that in some of the movies after that, in that movie and later on, Lou Ferrigno does the actual voice of the Hulk. So whenever you hear Hulk growling or whatever the case may be, that would be
I actually didn't know
Lou
that.
Ferrigno. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna be every scene of Hulk. I'm gonna be like,
when he starts talking, that's Mark Ruffalo. Well, regularly talking, but as Ragnarok, when he's still like Hulk, that's Lou Ferrigno. So
tough.
The infamous scene that made this movie what it was, that people loved outside of the ending, was the college / train station, whatever, when they were on that big open land and he becomes the Hulk, and you finally get to see
in full daylight
what he looks like. Which that transformation, insane. And just the action in itself, which really does make this movie.
It highlights the movie for real.
And it's the part that people go back to, and makes it one of the top tier Marvel movies. I think that action in that is what a lot of people were looking for or mainly cared about outside of just the story, especially with the Hulk. Any favorite parts of that fight scene?
I would say, during the campus, I think it would, when the sound wave gun ships, gunner trucks come through or whatever, and they hitting them with powerful supersonic waves, and the music starts playing, the piano, he's kind of crippled down. They see they're kind of, we actually finally got him, and then you can vaguely or faintly hear Betty Ross is like, no, please, and it's echoing and rippling through, and the sound effect sounds almost like if you're in it too. I thought that was pretty cool. And then you just see him they did really well capturing his emotion with the CGI. He kind of doesn't look like Edward Norton when he's when he's Hulk, but his emotions are really animated really well. So as soon as he hears Betty Ross scream through the ripples, he just goes berserk. He has these 2 pieces of scrap metal. He throws it at one truck, picks up the other one, body slams the other, and at that point, you're not stopping him. And then the one-liners that you were talking about, that is Ross, where's the goddamn gunships? And it's just, that was the cherry on top, for me.
Where's the gunship?
I think that was my favorite scene too. Favorite part of that scene. You explained it perfectly. We were comparing that to the old version, because the Hulk just gets stronger. The angrier he gets, or more frustrated he gets, he just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. This movie, they didn't really show it as much. He seemed a little bit more resilient, and he didn't want to lose. And you can see him basically turn up and do what he needed to do, but he didn't really seem to have gotten stronger.
Yeah.
He didn't want to lose.
He had this was a Hulk that was really not giving up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he had the government on his tail for months and years. Just that anger in him, that fight, you know. And basically he had that dog in him. And like you were saying, comparing it to the old Hulk was like, if you look at it, you know, in 4K and what we got now, he was just like this big green rubbery looking type of thing. Like when he was trapped in the hallway with the foamy scene and they were shooting and the bullets were bouncing off, it just seemed like so rubbery, like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not saying that it's a bad thing, but I just like the way this Hulk
felt
looked.
More realistic, as we were saying.
Literally, where he moved his arm like this and you would see every single muscle fiber turn and move. And it was just, I thought it was just pretty well.
A lot more realistic.
Yeah.
It seemed like something that obviously can't, but it looked more realistic.
Yeah, it felt real. It felt more real, you know.
Yeah. Turn from like later Marvel and now with the movies, because now they finally jumped into the fantastical world of it.
We've gone cosmic now, so it's
completely.
Yeah.
But back then they were still in that realistic realm. Like, we have to make this feel like something that can actually happen. It has to feel like a Hulk can actually appear. And what would that look like? How would people react? How would they respond?
Yeah.
And I think that they captured that with the Hulk in this.
Abomination was catching bodies.
Yeah. I was going to bring up Emil Blonsky and him turning into the Abomination. They gave him that super soldier serum.
Yeah.
They shot him in the neck with those 2 big ass needles.
You know, I kind of, looking back at the scene where he bum brushes in the library, Professor Stern or whatever, he's like, I want what he's got, or whatever you took out of him. Essentially, they never took anything out of him. That's number one. Number two, why didn't just, I guess, obviously Blonsky wasn't going to be thinking of this, but imagine if Blonsky got like a 3rd and 4th installment of the serum that he was already getting. He probably would have been like a Super Saiyan Winter Soldier type versus, mixing those serum with the Bruce Banner blood already, concentrate that Stearns was, reproducing or whatever. That's why they call it Abomination, whatever. They mix the bloods. But imagine if he had his normal dosage or whatever, his serums, but just up the dosage, I
mean, look at what he did in that the campus scene.
Yeah, he was,
and he only
flying
had a
around.
small dosage of it, and he was able to bounce around, jump around. Right. Not with like fighting, he wasn't keeping up with him, but in agility, he was able
he had a lot of agility.
To move. So
by the time he got that second dosage in the library scene, he was flying up the steps. He was just jumping from rail to rail. It kind of looked like Spider-Man almost. He had his heightened agility or whatever. Yeah. So
the super soldier serum that he took, and you saw the way that he took that super soldier serum.
Yeah.
If they said that you could take the serum, would you take it?
Absolutely. But as long as it, I want Cap's super soldier, and I want to be me. I don't want to be this crazy guy after, because he got a little power.
That was all in his head, though.
But then again, doesn't the serum heighten who you are already on the inside? Actually, so yes, I would take that serum in a heartbeat, because it's just gonna make me the person who I already am times 10. It's over. We good.
True.
You know what I'm saying? It heightens who you are. That's what made Captain America.
Captain America, yeah.
Absolutely.
Because they offered that to him earlier in the movie, and he was like, absolutely, that he would do it.
Yeah.
But then you have somebody like Sam Wilson, who the Falcon, and he's like, no, I'm not taking it. And the same thing in the show with the other guy that becomes
U.S. agent.
U.S. agent.
Yeah.
And he absolutely was like,
absolutely, yeah. Wyatt Russell. He's becoming a good actor of mine. I just recently, very off topic, watched that Monarch series. He's pretty cool in there. So to see him part of the MCU, he's got a tight spot.
Okay.
He's good on that. Thunderbolts, New Avengers team or whatever.
He was in another movie, Nightpool. I don't know if you saw that. It's a bad horror movie.
Nah, I never heard of that. The Deadpool knockoff? Like, what's going on?
It's not, no, Nightpool. Like,
Nightpool?
It's like, it's you have to see it.
The
pool is haunted.
Gotcha. Oh, got it. Okay. Got it.
Samuel Stern. He is the leader. He's the one that Bruce has been communicating with the whole movie through messages. They've been calling each other Mr. Green and Mr. Blue.
Yep.
And
I thought that was pretty cool that they had like an encrypted VPN or whatever, like just them two just trying to figure this thing out.
But it's like, why would you send somebody
that too?
You have no idea who this is. You
Absolutely.
have I guess that you have a general idea, but why would you send this to this person? Because you don't know ultimately what their goal and
what their intentions are, helping you out, you know?
Yeah. Because you saw that after they cured Bruce from being the Hulk, or at least they thought they cured him.
They gave him an Advil.
Basically. So you see that he has the whole like it's not really a closet, it's like a whole room.
He has like a gallery of
his blood
recycled and reproduced over and over again.
Because he said that it wasn't enough for him to use it on test subjects. And like, test subjects. You've been testing my blood on people? Which they never even referenced in the movies.
I mean,
honest, but
when he said test subjects, I think he meant like maybe rats or something, like lab rats. I doubt people. It can't.
It could have been. And they didn't really reference one.
I mean, he's a professor at a college university. He has, again, not that much power. That also, to have a blood bank in your library is crazy. It's kind of crazy. No one's gonna question that. Whose blood is this?
Not even that. You're just looking at a random dude's blood. You don't even know who this dude is.
Yo, for real.
He got just bags and bags of his blood just chilling in your office.
Sick. In itself, could be like testament to who he actually really was, and that proved in itself when we got our 14-year later sequel in Captain America 3. So. Yeah. I think it was or 4, whatever. But
don't understand from that. For me, that was the biggest plot hole. Like there were some other things that were plot holes in this movie. Yeah. I think that was the biggest one. Is why would you send your blood to a random person? And I hate that we never actually got to this point. We still haven't gotten another solo Hulk movie.
Yeah.
This is the only solo Hulk movie in the MCU, and maybe the reason why is like we were started off this episode saying, is almost like a filler episode because like with the Hulk, the only thing that he really does is just smash things.
He's known as the team's brute, the team's strength guy,
Yeah, so like how do you do another movie?
This film definitely did have, I guess we would call those plot holes because essentially it's a contradiction where, the whole movie he's on the run because he doesn't want Thaddeus Ross and the government, S.H.I.E.L.D., whatever, to get his blood. Meanwhile, he's sending vials to Mr. Blue, whoever he may be.
He could have been part of it.
He could have been S.H.I.E.L.D. agent the whole time. And how...
Which we learned
who vouched for him, I mean, but Betty Ross did know who he was. So at some point...
she knew who he was because of like when they did the research to find out that it was Stern.
Yeah.
But I don't think they knew. They made it seem like they didn't know who Stern was
throughout
the whole movie. They both were anonymous to each other.
I think that whole montage where it's showing the S.H.I.E.L.D. logo going through the internet database, I think that was actually the government themselves. I don't even think that was... Because remember, it panned out to the lady. Mm-hmm. I guess she was the lieutenant right after Ross or whatever. She was on the computer and it showed her match found with the S.H.I.E.L.D. logo. Okay. So I guess she was using the S.H.I.E.L.D. database to just really do some other stuff.
S.H.I.E.L.D. keeps tabs on everybody.
Which also hints Tony Stark's connection at that point. Remember when he walks in at the bar, then he's like, I told you it wouldn't work. Maybe Thaddeus at some point asks Tony and S.H.I.E.L.D. like, yo, let me use your database. We got to find these people right now. The Hulk is on the run. He's going to break Harlem. It makes sense. It makes sense. So at that point, he's desperate because he doesn't want, Hulk running loose or anything like that. At the same time, he's creating a ticking time bomb with Blonsky right here, getting dosage after dosage. And then once you showed him into the blood bank, it was a wrap. It was like a vampire in there. So Forget about it.
It brings us to the ending of the movie, pretty much with his the final battle scene with Abomination. And the Hulk. One of the biggest things that everybody's always talking about with that fight scene. Absolutely. Is when he splits the car in half and uses
the Hulk hands. I think that was a toy too at one point.
I think so. I know that in the video game, if you ever played the
you could split the cars in half and just turn them into gloves. Yeah, that was. I ain't gonna lie, they don't make them like those no more.
Not at all. People have tried to repeat it in Grand Theft Auto though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with the mods and stuff. Yeah, I do be seeing that. That is fun. That is fun.
But I think that this fight scene goes back to what we were saying about Iron Man 1. Mm-hmm. When he fought Ironmonger, Incredible Hulk, fights the Abomination.
Right.
But I think that it was just them showing that Hulk needed to overcome and be able to control his
rages.
His rage, and direct it, which he will do later on, as we see in Avengers, instead of just being this huge rage monster. And Betty was a little bit of that driving force for that.
Absolutely.
Because every time in the movie she was the one to,
she calmed him down every time,
And he was able to focus. He showed a lot of emotion as the Hulk, like the facial features and just seeing like he didn't want to have to do some of the stuff that he was doing. Like in the fight, when the fight is over, you can see that he doesn't want to leave. Like he wants to stay there, but he knows that he can't. Like he has to go on.
The moment that, Abomination goes down, helicopter light goes on, you see in his face like, here we go again. Yeah. Back to square one. And then, that amazing montage of him jumping, building the building, and then the music, the score going crazy. That was like, a cool send-off. There was a lot of casualties in that fight, which was... I didn't realize till we rewatched it again. I'm like,
one lady gets smoked by a cab.
A cab took her completely off the screen, like immediately, and it was kind of crazy. It was PG-13,
Think about like Marvel now; they don't really show. They kind of reference that people like die, but they don't really show it as much as they used to.
Yeah. Like of on-screen deaths.
Yeah. It's a Disney thing, maybe.
I mean, the last on-screen death, I guess, Winter Soldier, when he was body count.
I mean, Infinity War, Thanos choked out Loki in the first.
That was OD. That was OD. That was OD.
But we get to the end credit scene. As you were saying earlier, with Thunderbolt Ross. He's in the bar. He's saying reload.
He's drinking his Hulks back to back.
Green drink, and in comes Tony Stark.
Yep. In his fancy new suit.
Yep. Talking about recruiting for a new team.
Yeah.
And obviously, as we know, it becomes the Avengers. But this movie, because we talked about end credit scenes and post credit scenes before, this was literally integrated into the movie. There was no post-credit scene for this.
Yeah.
It literally was part of it. So I think that it's interesting that they tried that with Iron Man and then they didn't do it again. And we'll see what they do in the movies going forward. But
I think maybe with Iron Man, I guess as a fan base, we weren't used to that whole post-credit thing that we get now. We love now, So there was probably some, I could be wrong, but there probably was some controversy on some like, we never seen this scene. And then weeks later, you have to find out that Samuel Jackson was in Iron Man, towards the end. And you're like, what? He's playing who? So I thought that was pretty cool. They just jumped straight to the point. And it's funny how, in Iron Man 1, it was Nick Fury talk about the Avengers Initiative. And then in this one, it's Iron Man who's talking about assembling a team, so I think it's cool how they have like the next person leading in, and then who we have for Iron Man 2 as a post-credit scene. It was like
Thor's hammer.
Yeah. Which was also another like I would say tidbit, but carried on with Phil Coulson, that his important role as a SHIELD agent among the MCU. I think that was pretty cool, pretty genius on their end.
Which he wasn't in Hulk, which making a note of. I'm gonna try to catch him being in the movies before Avengers.
Yeah. Thor was probably Iron Man and Thor.
Yeah. Iron Man.
And we got Captain America
2.
right before Avengers.
Yep. And I don't think he was in there. But we'll see.
He was in the end, actually.
Was he?
Yeah, when
he's in the middle of Manhattan, he's out of the car.
He's like in the back. You see him right next to Nick Fury or whatever.
Yeah, he was.
You been on ice, Captain. You know, that's what Nick Fury says or whatever.
I think that was it. We kind of wrapped up this filler episode.
It was a great filler episode. It's a filler episode you want to watch over and over again on a rainy day, you know.
For the action scenes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not for the plot, for the action scenes.
You know, we could say what your actual favorite scene was, you know,
in this movie?
in the Abomination fight, I guess.
It was the campus fight.
That was your favorite
I like
scene?
that one better, yeah.
I'm a Hulk rage type of guy. So when he had them chains around Boy's neck and he
almost killed him.
Decapitated him on screen and he was just you know, that Hulk yell, like you want to yell with him, like I just want to yell too. And then you get the iconic Hulk.
Smash.
You know, so I thought it was. You can't ask for something. You can't ask for better.
No.
You can't ask for better. Did you say Delta 4? Before we forget. Before
we close out. Yeah, the Delta 4. So in the last episode, if you watch the full thing, we had made a reference or a mention to the military making a reference to a Whiplash, because Whiplash was be the villain in the next movie. In this movie, the military made a reference to the leader.
Delta 4 the leader! They still got two of our guys left!
When Abomination escapes the library.
So it's kind of referencing to what potentially could have been another movie if Marvel would have done a movie about another solo Hulk movie, which kind of sort of get in Captain America 4 all these years later, but
it's like a Captain America 4 Hulk 2 mashup. Basically. Which I ain't mad, but you know they kind of doing Sam a little dirty, but just a little bit, you know. But hey, what can we do? We could just look forward to the next one. Iron Man 2 up next.
Iron Man 2 next week. But thank you guys for tuning into this episode. Let me know what you guys think about the Incredible Hulk. What does it rank for you guys in the MCU? Now after watching it, it's definitely on the lower half. So yeah. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Peace until next time.